everybody's voice is individual. Everybody's voice is individual to them. Even if you're saying the same thing, you can be saying it in different ways that are personal to you. And I think without it, honestly, we can't change the world. That sounds like a really grand, big statement, but it's true. I think if you look at the people that have actually changed the world at different points in their life, whether they're young, whether they're old, they've done it by saying something that's real to them, that's made everybody else around them think, or change something, or look at themselves. So I think without it, we can't change what we want to see. We can't be the change that we want to see. And I think that power is in young people, in whatever you see that you think could change or can improve, or even if you're endorsing something, we all have a voice that we can use, and it's really important to recognize it.
Yeah, with me I would say it wasn't really, or the way I see it, it's not really about finding your voice as much as it's about being comfortable with it. So when I first started writing, what I was writing, in my mind was the voice of a middle-class white man, until someone said to me, bro, why are you writing like this? Like, you don't talk like this. So I had to be comfortable enough that I could write, novels, poems in my own voice, and basically say that it's still relevant, it's still important. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do, is just to be comfortable with who they are and how they think and how they write, and just know that it's valid.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, but I think it's quite interesting because I feel like my voice changes all the time, if that makes sense. Like, it's always evolving. It's, again, sometimes I feel like I'm not being myself, other times this really feels like me. So I definitely agree with both of those points.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any, if it makes you feel any better, I don't think there's any one point where you feel like you find your voice. I feel like you're constantly on that journey. Even talking about the writing and editing process, there are times when we were like, okay, no, we've got this, like we're actually saying something here that matters and is important. But there's other times and it's like, you have people kind of hampering on your confidence, you're feeling inadequate. And so the days, it's not quite a journey where you ever reach like a destination and you feel like, okay, now I feel like I found my voice and this is it. Now I feel like I'm confident. Now I feel like I'm like done with this kind of journey of trying to find my confidence. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, I think the underlying thing with all of that, and I think it's probably common with all of us, is that fear of, okay, if I say this, will I be judged? Or if I say that, how's that going to affect that reader? But I think fundamentally, when you're writing a book or when you're speaking authentically to your own voice, you cannot have too much fear about how the impact of how that's going to be for somebody else, because ultimately that could be the change that is needed. I had a lot of fear writing my book because it was an autobiography, it's about me. And then there's all sorts of different people to consider in that family, particularly from a Nigerian family. It's like, don't write, why are you writing that? But there's a lot of things that I felt, if I don't say this, how am I going to affect a young girl who wants to become a footballer like me? I have to say this, So I think there's a fear element that you have to let go of, because you don't know how powerful your voice could be if you use it. I do feel like there's times when I've tempered my voice or edited it, or just been like, do you know what? I can't, it's going to be stressful for me to speak into the situation. And I'll give you an example. So I recently started working as a female pundit in men's football, in Premier League football. So I'm one of 2 women, literally, that do it. And that's a big responsibility, because I know as soon as I get on TV speaking about men's football, I'm going to be criticized because you're different. And a lot of the time, when I get that criticism or see that criticism, it's a temptation to go, what are you talking about? And kind of stand up for myself and prove that I'm worthy to be there. But a lot of the time I've realized that's energy that I just don't need to deal with. You can't fight every fight. And so a lot of the time, my voice is actually just being there, just doing what I need to do in the best way possible to show that loads of women before me and after me can do it too. So I think in terms of voice, it's also knowing when to use it, and not being tricked into, because there's a lot of people that just say stupid things or try and get a reaction out of you. And actually, you have to lower yourself to meet their reaction, but you're above it anyway. And sometimes I've made mistakes and I've argued with people that are not even worth it, because they want to be where you're at, and then they can't. So I feel like, yeah, sometimes I've had to choose when to just be silent, because that's powerful too, sometimes.
I think at uni, there were definitely times where I feel like I lost my voice. It was quite hard, obviously, because Cambridge, it's less white now, we hear, but like, it was quite white when we were there. And I think there were definitely times where I just felt very overwhelmed by like the space and having to literally call out like white people and their racism right there. And I would be like, I could be the most confident person in the world, but if you put me in a situation where like I'm surrounded by like people and I feel like I can't talk about it, then it becomes very difficult. I think building it up again has been by talking to other people who have experienced that, being able to go to spaces where I can find other black people and they'd be like, oh my God, yes, same, like that happened to me too, and this is what I did. And then them kind of helping me find my voice again, so that if I was ever in another situation where someone was trying to smell my hair, where someone was trying to say rubbish about Nigeria, this time I would have the voice to respond. So yeah, I think talking to other people about it who had also kind of been victims of the same thing and finding strength in like our collective voice was quite helpful. Yeah.